Hello, this is Dry Oasis. I'm your host. And these two are my two co-hosts, Kirby and Snorlax. Say hello, Kirby and Snorlax. Hi. I hope that you've all had a great day so far. And if not, if the rest of your day is better or tomorrow's better for you. For crying out loud. Alright, you need to remind me. Anyways, let's see here. That is odd. Moment. There we are. Owie, my ears. Again. So yeah, I hope that you've all had a great day so far, and if not, I hope the rest of your day is better, or tomorrow's better for you. And yeah, this is coming after the whole... Let's see here. This is basically you saying that I'm in better condition than I was about... Let's see here. Nearly over a week ago. Anyways, I guess let's see here. I think I will start with that since I've been away for some time and the last time I streamed was a few days ago. Anyways, I was getting ready to do rehearsal for a show. I basically was distracted for a little bit and accidentally hit a car in front of me, so yeah, I went to the hospital for the night. Thankfully, I only had an abrasion on my forehead, but little abrasion, like it's barely noticeable right now. Thank gosh I'm safe. However, my car isn't in really... the car that I was driving was pretty much wrecked. Strange thing was the not the seat belt, but the airbag wasn't deployed, so somehow through some kind of transmission thing or whatever, it somehow managed to catch on fire for that, so... Unfortunately, that means I have to find the means to... I now have to look for a car, which isn't exactly the best thing to say, since I've not been, like, really good with saving, like, too much or whatever. I have some insurance here. And unfortunately, my insurance went up because of the accident, so there's that as well. And yeah, so right now I'm trying to find a car. The one that I'm looking for right now is Hyundai Ioniq, because I've driven my parents' car and they're such a treat. However, they're kind of expensive right now, so there's that. So right now, if you can see right over here. Stream elements, you got failed me. Let's see here. Have I not updated them? Anyways, later on because I know right now it's not like I haven't like done much content when it comes to Patreon, and it's basically not going anywhere for that. Right now, I basically designed myself to do Ko-Fi right now, so if anyone's willing to put in $1 for my place, which would be under Dry Places, somewhere under the Stream Elements thing. Thank you. It's just now. Basically, I'm just asking at this point, begging, or whatever. If it sounds different, desperate, yeah, pretty much. It's just like a really competitive world out there. Incomes are like really hard with that. Anyways, let's see here. So, not mention I'm also getting ready for going to Japan in a few months as well, so there's also that. And yeah, so if you're asking for commissions from me right now, it's definitely not in the cards right now. I'm just basically doing all I can to do what I can to make things work so far. So yeah. So that is the state of things. I also saw the new Michael movie that came out recently, and I gotta say this, screw the critics. Michael was a fun movie, and if I'm being genuinely honest, it was Mr. Jackson's fault for the state that Michael was in. Michael was, because of all of the stress put onto Michael for performing and all of that, and not going to school or whatever, and not having like a normal life, Michael was unfortunately not in a position to grow up, and he never really got the childhood he should have in the first place. And screw his dad for thinking he could own Jackson like in his 20s or 30s, even though he realistically should have let him go by then. Not to mention, it was also... Not to mention, if it wasn't for Michael Jackson's father, he wouldn't have gone and done that one commercial that would have had that whole hair thing, and what could have possibly spilled, which basically made things even complicated, just putting Michael under a lot of stress just trying to do the tour and the commercial. So yeah, screw Michael Jackson's father. He was basically responsible for Michael not just living a normal life. As for the other criticism, as for the one huge criticism of this movie not pertaining to the whole sexual assault allegations and so on, apparently the movie tried to do that, but there was some legal problems that they couldn't do for this movie, so fortunately they had to cut it out. But I'm not going to blame the directors or producers for something out of their control. If anything, do not knock the movie out for that. They had to basically do a lot to do for this movie, and with the final product, I am happy for the way things turn out. So yeah. Alright, Ace Attorney Investigations. Number 2. let's see here. I need to do more shorts eventually here and there. Torosaurus, hello again. Now, battery, where was I? Oh, right. So, basically, we were just confronting, let's see here. Verity Cavell was being blackmailed into making sure Fifi Lagarde was found not guilty for crimes. And she and Eustace were in cahoots one way or another. Hasn't been explored how. Anyways, Eustace tried to kidnap Verity's son in order to do that. Unfortunately, unluckily for him, it was Eustace Winter, his own son, that got captured. And Sean Fenn was kidnapped, and Verity and Sean are basically mother and father. And so in the last... So also with that, Eustace was able to finally stand up to his father after Sean was also found. So basically, Celsius and Fifi are screwed over. But it's not over yet, as Verity and Sean were somewhat involved with the murder of Dijuan, of the president of St. Fa. I forgot his name. So yeah, Sheila Lane still needs to ask them about what happened. Not to mention, Torosaurus is still on the loose. And the two reporters are here. Yay. And also Will Powers. Yay. And Miles Edgeworth is disappointed that there's probably not anything still samurai related. Boo. There might be in the future. Who knows? Anyways, going on. April 6th, 2:52 p.m. Big building. Empty lot. Could you maybe calm down a little? Calm down? No way, Jose. Not until you all come clean. It's for your own good, dang it. Our interpreted reporters refuse to give up, even in the face of repeated stonewalling from the crew. Look, you ladies need to stop harassing these people, or I'll have to ask you to. You got a lot of nerve. Y'all are the ones who let Torosaurus run wild. Hoping to hide the fact that they bred this menace themselves, the staff cling desperately to their story. Look, we're really not breeding anything. This is a movie set. Says the gal who told me she done seen Gordy with her own dinged eyes. I saw something, but that doesn't mean we're keeping monsters here. Alright, break it up. Alright, break it up. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth. And Sean. Y'all are on the trail of this here monster infestation too, huh? No, we're on the trail of a criminal. Langsy says, the darkness of a criminal's heart can sometimes be compared to a monster. That is to say, a killer is no different from a monster, really. Agent Lane, this is highly irregular, sir. We can't allow members of the public onto the crime scene. These people are important witnesses. I need them to be here. Well, Agent Lane, here we are. I haven't thought about a joke now. Where do you intend to begin? Let's start by summing up the facts. President Wayne's body was discovered here this morning. He hadn't been seen since the night before last. Yes, he slipped off without his bodyguards noticing, if I remember correctly. So he was missing for over a day. And the last person to see him alive was you, Judge Cavell, on the roof of the big building. Why did the two of you arrange to meet? I'm sorry, but I can't say. Not even to defend yourself from an accusation of murder? Why? Why can't you just tell us? Why? Why can't you just tell us? Please, Judge Cavell, we're trying to help you. Not so fast! Ha! She can't say because she'll only incriminate herself more. I know you had something to do with the president's murder, and I'm gonna prove it. Objection! There we are. You said yourself that the body was only found this morning. How do you explain the time that passed between Judge Cavell's meeting with the president and then? But not so fast! That's exactly what I'm hoping we're about to find out. I'm particularly interested in what happened last night. So why don't you tell us exactly how it all went down, Sean Fenn? Me? We know you were here on the set last night. You were, Sean. We have testimony from the woman over there and forensic evidence from the footprints that prove it. You came back to run your lines right. What? You were spying on me? I'm sorry, I was just making sure you were okay. It was late. I was worried about you. How many times do I have to tell you? I don't need you to worry about me. Sean, that's no way to talk to an adult. She was trying to look out for you. Apologize this instant. Sorry. I've told you before, I won't have you speaking to people that way. Wow, this is a whole new Judge Cavell. It seems she's as strict with her son as she is with those who break the law. Are you listening to me? I've told you once, I've told you 1,000 times, you must... Nom 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 nom. Nom 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 nom. Nom 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 nom. Blah 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 blah. I'm an overbearing mother. Blah blah blah. At least I'm not Mr. Michael Jackson's father. He was the worst. And I want you to remember that, alright? Not so fast! Can we get on with the investigation now? Yes, get on with it! Yes, get on with it! Yes, get on with it! Oh, of course. Forgive me. I don't think I've ever seen her so passionate about anything. I guess Judge Cavell, the mother, will getting used to. Are we to understand that you're accusing Sean of being involved somehow, Agent Lang? I just want the truth. I need to know why the president was killed. By who? And I don't care what it takes. I'm going to find out. I guess it makes sense for him to be so determined. The president was practically family to him. Alright, Sean, perhaps you could tell us what happened last night? Fine by me. I've got nothing to hide. About last night. I had a bad day yesterday. Messed up a couple of takes. We were scheduled to shoot the same scene again today. So I thought I'd put in some extra practice. And that's what I did. It's that simple. It's not like I haven't done it before. It was fine. Nothing happened. You've been rehearsing late at night again? When I called you yesterday evening, Sean, you said you were at the hotel. You called him? Around what time? It must have been 11 p.m. or thereabouts. It's one of our rules. When Sean stays away from home, we have to speak every night. Yeah, well, I wasn't at the hotel. I was here on set. So you lied to me? Sorry. Oh, now she's mad. I think it's kind of amazing how hard he wants to work on his acting, though. Nonetheless, a parent can't help but worry. Her child alone late at night. Anything could happen to him. And indeed it did. He got himself entangled in this case. But he said nothing happened, right? He did, although I can't help but wonder if he was telling the truth. Sean, about what you just said. How many times have I made you promise? If you're going to rehearse on your own, you have to tell me. I know. Well, that little outburst rather stole my thunder. Let me ask again, about what you just said. I think it's pretty cool though, Sean. More interruptions? It's all the hours of practice that make you the best you can be. Little by little by little. Minute by minute by minute. I'm the same. I went from small-time thief to average thief, and before I knew it, greatness beckoned. And now I finally made it. Now that I finally made it, I'm not about to stop doing my best, and neither should you. Ahem. May I continue? Now, Sean, do you often rehearse alone? Finally. I got my question out without being interrupted. Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? What do you mean? Of course I'm sure. It's just a regular evening. Nothing out of the ordinary. Huh? Regular evening? How can you say that? Somebody was... Okay, he's just a child. You mustn't be too hard on him. Nothing happened. Really? Nothing to do with the case anyway. At least that's what it sounds like he wants us to believe. But wait, don't we have some evidence related to what happened last night? We do, and we also don't have time to be humoring the lies of a child. Let's use what we have to point out the contradiction in his testimony. Objection! Nothing happened? I'm sorry about your line. The bundle of Torosaurus's head fell from the roof of that trailer last night. Do you expect us to believe that you knew nothing about that? I don't know what you're talking about. Is that so? I told you. I ran my lanes, I went home, that was it. What do I know about some stupid falling head? Are you saying you could prove I know something? Sadly not. It's entirely possible that the head fell after Sean left. No proof, then this conversation is over. Objection! No, it's not. What? The head falling from the roof isn't the only strange thing about last night. And I'm certain you know what else I'm thinking of, too. Nothing unusual. Let's see here. Well, that happened last night. Hmm? This proves it beyond a doubt. Wait, how did you... That's right, your rehearsal tape. Gah. What? You have footage from last night? We do, and if you watch it, you'll see that it was no ordinary evening. There's the footprint there already. There is, and I'm not sure about... I'm not sure that's an everyday sight, even on a film set. Sean, why would you keep this from me? No reason. Not so fast! Liar! That's, might work on your mommy kid, but it's not gonna work on me. Why did you hide the tape? Sean, you have to tell us. You... Look, I just didn't want anybody to see me rehearsing, okay? I don't like it. So you were embarrassed? Is that it? Yeah. What's so weird about that? Not so fast. That's why you didn't hand over vital evidence? Sean, how could you? Yeah. Oh, give me a break. You know about it now, don't you? Sure, the footprint was there, but I just ran my lines and went home. That was it. Hold it. Hold it. What? Hold it. Why did nothing about the giant monster footprint struck you as weird? It's a giant monster footprint! On the set of a giant monster movie. It's not like there isn't all kinds of other weird stuff around here. I don't buy for a second. Chief, there's something hinky about this kid. Sure as I'm saying it right here. Think Skippy there is. He's hide and scoop under them their horns or my name ain't lot of heart. Ah, shut it, both of you. I'm done talking. Not so fast! Hold it right there. What is it, Ancient Lang? So it's just as I thought. Thanks, Mr. Prosecutor. This footage of yours backs up my theory nicely. What? There was something else on that tape? Yep, look closely. See the costume in the top left? Oh yeah, the Torosaurus suit. Something different. Do you see it? I'm not sure. He's just kind of hanging out and looking a little saggy. Oh, and the zipper on his back is done up tight. The zipper? That's... Yeah, I guess you all see it now, right? On the tape, the zipper's wide open. Why? Because somebody's inside that suit. The suit, that's why. What? Mr. Powers, that zipper. What can you tell us about it? Oh, we always close it up tight when the suit isn't in use. That's right, Mr. Prosecutor. Do you remember something else I said not long ago? Let me refresh your memory. You're saying the body could have been hidden in the Torosaurus suit? That's exactly what I'm saying. Isn't that right, Gavel? You pushed the president off the roof, just like I said. Then you hid his body inside that costume. I most certainly did not. Not so fast! Protest all you like. I'm not gonna believe you. You're the only person who could have done this. Objection! Thought we already proved that would have been impossible. The movie set was locked at the time. There's no way Judge Gavel would have been able to get in here. Not so fast. What if she had an accomplice? What? I've got a little theory for you. I think you're gonna like it. But it's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching. Wait. No, Sheila and Lei, get back here. We haven't done our cross-examination yet. Okay, fine. But they're in child murderers. Ooh. What if Sean was waiting down here when Gavel pushed the president off the roof? If the two of them were working together, the problem with the lock goes away. Then they work to hide the body together too. By dragging it over to the Torosaurus suit, stuffing it inside. Think the murder really was that carefully planned? It was the assassination of a world's leader. It could only have been carefully planned. Overruled. Suggest that Sean could have been involved in this. It's unthinkable. Not so fast. You're my prime suspect. What makes you think I'm gonna listen to a word you say? What about motive? What reason would either of them have to kill President Wang? Who knows? But we'll find out soon enough. She was the last one to meet with him. She won't tell us why. Pretty dang suspicious. Darn suspicious, too. Even you have to agree with that. I can't. Ooh, the governors! Judge Cavell, I don't suppose I can convince you to share any more details? My apologies, but that is one thing I cannot do. However, rest assured, should that ever change, you will be the first to know. So please, you have to believe me? Ha! Murderers have a habit of saying that. What about you, kid? Any weak excuses to offer? If so, now's the time to get them off your chest. Ha! I've got nothing to say to you. I'm innocent. Both lived as each other, huh? But let me guess, you're still gonna try and seek up for them? It's true. Judge Cavell's actions certainly make her seem suspicious. But nothing she has told us amounts to a motive for murder, or even the suggestion of one. Nope, like I said, I'm leaving motive aside for now. For the moment, I'm focusing on means and opportunity. And for my money, these two have been working together for their little plot to succeed. You're seriously suggesting that a child could have been an accomplice in this murder? Look at him, he's still in elementary school. There's no way a kid that young would be involved in something like this. I think I mentioned that he's in junior high, right? Not so fast! Langsy says, pity no wolf be he cub or grizzled elder. It doesn't matter how young he is. If he's guilty, he's guilty. And he'll be treated as such. Probably go to juvie, that's what. Wow, wolf cubs have it hard, huh? I'm surprised at you, Mr. Prosecutor. You're saying he deserves mercy just because of his age? Of course not. I'm saying that there's no way he did this. I'm going to prove it to you. Heh, I'll look forward to it. But be warned, I'm just only getting warmed up. Goes away how exactly? Heh, I thought you might try this, but you and I both know exactly how. Let me make it nice and simple for you. First, she pushes the president off the roof. Pushes... okay. Then the kid opens the combination lock, because he knows the code. Yep, kid opens code, knows lock, gotcha. Okay, the other way around. And that's it. It's that simple. No more luck to worry about. And no more objections about her not being able to get in because she didn't know the code. That would explain away the problem with the lock. It's true. Thank you for your clear and incisive explanation, Agent Lang. Please continue. I will, and hopefully this next part will shut you up for good. But if the two of them were working together, why would they need to hide the body for a full day? Not so fast! Well, look at the situation right in front of you. Thanks to that little bruise, we're still puzzling over what they were up to even now. But if you'll let me speak, I can clear this whole mess up once and for all. Ready? Good. So like I was saying, they worked together to hide the body. The video footage doesn't show the inside of the suit. You can't say for certain that there was a body there at that time, can you? Maybe not, but we can take a look right now. Let's open it up and see what's inside. I put my money on finding proof that it was there. Do you mind if I examine the suit, Mr. Powers? Oh, not at all. Might be a little ripe, though. Gets pretty sweaty in there. Huh? It's filthy. Yeah, that's weird. I always clean it out pretty good. If you don't, it can get kind of moldy. Not so fast! In other words, what we're looking at is proof that somebody other than you used the costume. That dirt in there must come from the body. Because the president was lying right in front of the middle of that footprint. Probably would have gotten pretty dirty. Exactly. Well, everybody happy? The inside of the suit is covered in dirt. It must be from when the body was hidden there. Hold it! If the dirt is from when the body was hidden inside the suit, we're assuming that it came directly from the body, correct? Ha! What are you even talking about? Of course we are. Where else where else would it have come from? It really is pretty filthy in there, huh? Dirt got everywhere. Especially around the part where the chest would have been. The chest? I think that might be an important clue. Objection! So, our assumption is that the inside of the suit is dirty because the dirt came from the body? Came from the body. Would it be safe to say that's the case? Why? Is there a problem? The part of the suit directly in front of the opening is particularly dirty. Yeah, it really is. But look at the victim. The area of his body that would have been in contact with that part of the suit isn't dirty at all. If the victim had been crammed in there, as you suggest, the chest would have surely be covered in dirt. Yeah, fine. So what's your explanation? How did all that dirt get inside there? This is the videotape. There may well have been somebody in the suit at that time. So who was it if it wasn't the president? Come on, Kay, think. Where was it? Something the matter, Kay? I've seen dirt like that somewhere else, I'm sure of it. Just can't think where. Dirt with weird little gray bits in it. Gray bits? She's right, there was something mixed in there. It was stuck to something else we looked at. Lots of it. Object, take that! As Kay pointed out, the dirt in the suit contains small flecks of something gray. Uh-huh, and? We discovered similar flecks to an item belonging to somebody we recently had dealings with. The item in question being these gloves. You're right. The dirt does look similar. But, so what? What are you saying the stuff is? What exactly are these gray flecks of yours? I believe the gray flecks are... concrete? Surely they're flecks of concrete? Oh, like all the little broken up bits around the footprints, you mean? Exactly. Who did the gloves which we found similar dirt and gray flecks belonged to? Chairman Winter. We found them in his garage. Why would a pair of mechanic's gloves be covered in dirt? I'll tell you why. Because somebody wore them while they used that hammer and shovel. They smashed through the concrete to the dirt below, staining the gloves with both substances. Wait, so you're saying? Yes, that we finally know what these footprints really are. Seems highly likely that they were dug by Chairman Winter. Not so fast! Highly likely. Puh! That's so. Then tell me this. Why the heck did he make them? What purpose could they possibly serve? And indeed, I imagine he must have been... I think he must have been digging something up. I imagine events unfolded somewhat like this. There was something on this lot that he needed to unearth. In order to do so, he cut the chain on the side entrance and gained access from there. Then he used his sledgehammer and shovel to dig the 3 footprints. When he found what he was looking for, he packed it up and filed it all in all of the holes. Ah, but then Sean must have showed up, right? I think he did, yes. Chairman would have had to find a hiding place, and the Torosaurus to provided just that. God. You got all that from a pair of dirty gloves? It's good, but it's all just speculation. We don't have any proof that he was inside that suit. He could have just dug those holes and gotten out of here before the kid even showed up. Objection! But he didn't. There's proof of that right here in the footage. Right? Oh, let's see here. It shows that Chairman Winter was still present when this recording was made. What? It's a shame that Agent Lane didn't notice it himself. But if we compare the situation as we see it now to the situation as it appears on Sean's rehearsal tape, compare that to turn in what we saw in Chairman Winter's garage. It soon becomes clear that the chairman was present. I've heard. Let's use this. Look at the bag next to the Torosaurus suit. I saw the same bag in Chairman Winter's garage. Same bag, the dirt on the gloves. That has to indicate a connection, surely? I think that pretty much shields it. It was Excelsius Winter in the suit. And if he was in there, the president's body can't have been. Gah! Good. Seems like convinced Agent Lane of the flaws in his theory. Somebody get to Chairman Winter's house right away. We need to know what's in that bag. Yes, sir! Hold it! Y'all down lost your minds? I can't believe what I'm hearing here. What is this hog's will? This is all we need. That right there is Torosaurus footprints, ain't it? You know holes dug by no old guy. I think I've demonstrated more than adequately that that's exactly what they are. Don't matter to me now what you just did. I don't believe it, and that's that. I done told y'all, I seen that big bad bull with my own 2 eyes. The giant eye peering at the window. Thought we gone past that nonsense. Man, we ain't about to let that go. Or what kind of journalist would we be if we did, huh? Responsible ones, but I guess that's the whole problem. Wait, just about the footprints, know how? You seem to be fraternizing with one of them there monsters. Is that correct, young man? But the young lady over there, if I'm not very much mistaken, we're never going to get anywhere with these 2 around. Maybe if we could prove to them that I wasn't a monster either, they might finally drop it. What do you think, Mr. Edgeworth? Any bright ideas? Prove that it wasn't a monster? Fine, I don't suppose there's much else for it. Let's see what we can do. What are you 2 whispering about? You're all hiding something, ain't ya? Admit it! Quick, Tubby, roll tape! Hold it. Could I politely ask that you both calm down? Monster the boy was seen talking to. We know what it was now. Huh? That's right. Sean's rehearsal tape finally cleared up that particular mystery. It did? I know which Miss Nichols thought she saw Sean with Gordy. That would have been right when he was making his rehearsal tape. I think she mistook a certain object for the legendary creature of the lake. The so-called monster is right here in this picture. Huh? I don't see no Gordy. That ain't nothing but a dumb snapshot. We're talking to a pro here. Can't fool me with no trick photography. Calling out your BS. That's right. It was a camera crane. That is what Miss Nichols saw, not Gordy. What? Sean's rehearsal tape was shot from a noticeably elevated viewpoint. Viewpoint that would only have been possible if the camera in question was attached to a crane. Hold it! Bull! How the heck? Why would she make a mistake like that, huh? Objection! I do indeed, Miss Nichols. Yes? You told us that you think you might need new glasses, didn't you? Yeah, my eyesight got way worse all of a sudden. And I imagined that when you thought you saw Gordy, it was quite heavily surrounded in darkness? That's right. I only really saw a silhouette. Why do you done told us? Skin like enormous worm. You said. You all about to try and tell us your perfect train grew up and grew skin somehow? And even no flesh on them, they're metal bones, let alone skin. You're entirely correct, of course, about the crane as it was in this particular picture anyway. But it did have a skin of the sort last night. Hold it! I knew you were a scoop hater, but this is plumb crazy. You want Tabby and me to starve, is that it? That wasn't my intent at all. But I do think it's time I finally put them both out of their misery and out of this mystery. Green skin is right here in front of us. Miss Nichols told us it seemed likely to rain last night. That never happened in the end. But I think Sean may have covered the crane with rainproof sheeting nonetheless. That, my interpreted reporters, is what Miss Nichols mistook for Gordy's skin. What? Ah, heck. Well, Sean, am I mistaken? You see everything, don't you? Gotta say, you're pretty amazing. I am, ex-prosecutor anyway. I'm sorry, Miss Hart, but Miss Nichols' monster was no such thing. It was simply a trick of the light, and sight, and fright. So, and just like that, the dream dies again. 'Cause it's a thriller night. No creepy crawlers going out in fright of the night. Chief. I think that may have finally shut them up. I thought the kid was holding out on us. But it seems I could have been a little wrong, maybe? Alright. Alright. We know what the so-called monster was now. Everybody happy? Everybody except these two. Agent Lane. The president's autopsy report is out, sir. Is it? Let me see it. Death was due to full-body contusions and bone breakages caused by extreme pressure from above. So we have our cause of death. He was crushed. Just as we thought. Test results still haven't come back from the illegal substance found on his chest. But they did find gunshot residue on his right hand. Gunshot residue? Guess he was a kid at heart, huh? Gunshot residue, Kay. It's the substance left behind when a firearm is discharged. Its presence indicates that the president may have used a gun. Really? Well, we didn't find a gun anywhere, did we? Indeed not, which makes the residue something of a riddle. We'll need to read that report carefully. Well, Agent Lane, that clears one thing up, at least. The president didn't die from a fall, which means that he was pushed from the roof of the building. He was crushed by the falling Torosaurus head, just as we said he was. Guess I have to accept that now. Fine, you were right. Amazing, so does that mean Judge Cavell isn't a suspect anymore either? Surely it must. Both the cause and time of death ruled her out. He met with the president the night before last. But the autopsy report puts the time of death at around 11 p.m. last night. We know that the Torosaurus head fell around then too. facts all line up perfectly. Phew, what a relief. Not so fast. Sorry, might be a little too soon to celebrate. What? Sure, I think we can accept that falling head must have been what killed the president. But that begs the question of what could have caused it to fall. Or who. We know what happened last night, so we have to think about who was here at that time. Overruled! What are you getting at exactly? You can't mean... I'm afraid I do. You did it, didn't you? Sean. The kid's hiding something. It was right here last night, right where the body was found. He saw the footprints. Now he wants us to believe he knows nothing about what happened? That's a big ask, surely. Objection! We haven't established if the footprints had anything to do with the murder. So even if he did see them, that doesn't mean he was involved. Not so fast! Maybe not, but his face tells me different. It says the fact that he's shaking like a leaf. It does seem like Agent Lane might be onto something, but I don't think Sean's going to talk. Fine, keep your mouth shut, kid. I have a better idea. Why don't we let your tape do the talking? What exactly are you planning, Agent Lane? The police have some pretty sophisticated image analysis tools these days. You would go to such extreme lengths to see my son convicted? It's not ideal, but if the boy won't talk, I don't have any other way of getting to the truth. Detective Gumshoe, you have access to exactly such a device, do you not? Sure do. Little V. Good. And that should make this nice and quick. Mr. Edgeworth, and I request that it be you who carries out the analysis in question? Why me? I fear that Agent Lane might be inclined to believe the worst. Such analysis isn't exactly my specialty, but alright. Let's see. Nothing here. Nothing here. Nothing here. Guess let's see what's over here. What the... Hey? Eureka! What the... What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? Let me see. Let me see. Huh? Eek! What is it? What's the matter? Show me! Mr. Edgeworth, the court has to share your findings. Zoom in on the top right part of the image and look closely. There's a person there. It's the president. The president. Oh my. What? You're kidding, right? Well, I'd say that's pretty decisive, wouldn't you? This doesn't look good for Sean at all. Wait, this doesn't prove anything. I didn't know he was there. I don't believe you. And the image does in fact prove something very important. That you and the president were here at the scene of the crime together. Admit it, kid. You murdered President Wang. No, that's ridiculous. Why? Why would he... Sean, you didn't. You can have. Can you? What do we do, Mr. Edgeworth? It's hard to push back against footage like that. Surely even you can't deny this looks pretty bad for the kid, Mr. Prosecutor. You claim you knew nothing about what happened. But the president is right there with him. Sean, what are you not telling us? We have to know. He's right, Sean. Be honest now. It's the only way. The truth is, it was all my fault. Sean, what did you do? It was my fault. The Torosaurus head fell off the trailer. Well, it happened while I was rehearsing. Aw. I went up on the roof at the trailer to prep the kit I was using, and I turned on the heater while I was there. I must have left it burning when I came back to run down my lines. Then my mom called and I said to go talk to her. When I came back after the call, The Torosaurus had fallen from the roof and the president was just there, lying next to it. No! We did find evidence of a fire having broken up on the roof. It was just a tiny one, so I put it out myself. So we're saying the president died because of Sean? If he did that, that would make this whole thing just an accident. What did you do with the head after you found it on the ground? I took it apart, carried the pieces up to the roof, put it back together again. Not so fast! You're saying you put on the fire and moved the head back to where it fell from? In other words, you tried to cover the tracks. You're a real piece of work, kid. Hold it. It's not like I did any of this on purpose. I really just forget to turn the heater off. Yes, and when the fire had burned through the legs, the table would have collapsed and the head would have fallen down onto the ground below. You're right. The fire caused the head to fall. Indeed. And I also happen to have an idea about how the fire have started. These cans of paint thinner by the heater are pretty flammable. Not a great place to keep them. Not so fast! And you swear it was an accident? Seems a little convenient. What was the president even doing here in the first place? How the heck am I supposed to know? I didn't see anybody, I swear. I still don't believe you. Why would the president wait to come to a place like this in the middle of the night? His reasons for coming here are something of a mystery. It's true. I met Judge Gavella up on the roof 2 nights ago. But he was also here on the movie set last night. Did he come to meet Sean? I think we all need to go over the boy's statement very carefully indeed. Hold it! You're a fit and hardy young man, Sean. It's spring now. Surely you didn't need to fire up that stove? Overruled. He is a fit and hardy young man who needs to look after himself. Objection! Really, Your Honor? But if he resorts to such measures even during warm weather... Hold it. Seriously? You two are going to argue over something like that right now? Yeah, he's right, of course. You made your point, Sean. But I've told you before to watch how you talk to people. I think he was criticizing you as much as he was me, Your Honor. Yes, Mom. Anyway, where was I? You left it burning? You didn't think to check before you came back down to the lot? I meant to, but I was thinking about my lens in the scene and everything else. It's not my fault I forgot. Everybody forgets stuff. I sure do. So much stuff. I leave the air conditioner on in Mr. Etcher's office and the lights. I forgot that he told me never to jump off the ladder on his bookshelves or make prank calls. But the one thing I would never ever forget to do is turn off an unintended heater. Please, Sean, go on. She's a lot, huh? Anyways, as I was saying... It was the middle of the night, and the set was deserted. Why did he need to leave in order to talk to your mother? I forgot I was supposed to talk to her. I got confused, I guess. I thought if I didn't leave, she'd find out I was at the hotel at night on my own. That doesn't make sense. You know that, don't you? Fine. Look, the camera is rolling and the mics were all live, okay? I didn't want our conversation on that tape where anyone could hear it. He was embarrassed about being recorded speaking on the phone to his mother. So I ditched the rehearsal and ran off set as quick as I could. You pretended to your mother that you were back at the hotel during the call, correct? How come you couldn't tell her you were coming back to the set to practice your lines? Because she'd have phoned the hotel and asked them to send a car to get me or something. Overruled. Of course I would have. A child your age shouldn't be out on its own late at night. Anything could happen to you. Children really can't seem to see things from their parents' perspective, can they? It's true the other way around too, you know, Mr. Edgeworth. Alright, Sean. Can you tell us what happened when you came back after speaking to your mother? Huh? Sure. So I came back and... Weren't there any signs that it was about to fall before you left? I don't remember. I was concentrating on my lines. But a fire had broken out on the roof because of the heater you forgot to turn off. Did you really hear nothing the entire time? No, I had my headphones on. Why? I was playing the soundtrack to the movie to help me concentrate, and I was playing it loud. So yeah, I definitely didn't hear anything. Except for the sound of your phone ringing when Judge Cavell called you. You know that cell phones vibrate these days, right? Anyway. Did you notice anything unusual about the body? I don't know. It was dark. Suddenly seems even more resistant than usual. Don't think he wants to go back over that memory any more than he has to, Mr. Edgeworth. Sure he doesn't, but is that really all it is? Should I push him a little more on this? It was dark, but you knew it was a body nonetheless. He's hiding something. I'd better find out what. Most people would cry out for help if they saw somebody lying on the ground. And yet, you didn't. Yeah, because... What was the point? He was dead. So you said. What I'm interested in is how you were able to be so sure. Why were you certain that he was dead? Hold it. He was lying on the ground and that huge head was right next to him. Didn't take much to figure that out. What must have happened? Objection! You couldn't have guessed that the impact would have killed him. How did you really know? I'll tell you how. Because you checked. Fine, I checked, okay. I was scared, but yeah, I went up to the body and I looked. He wasn't breathing. So I was right. But why try to hide that fact? There must have been a reason. Could you tell me how the body looked at that point? I couldn't tell he was dead at first. There was no blood or anything, so it was hard to be sure. Nothing on his clothes either. It was completely clean. But yeah, he wasn't breathing. So that's how I knew he was dead. Thank you. I'd like you to add that statement to your testimony if you don't mind. Is that flex? Objection! Nothing on his clothes. Nothing at all? Yeah, nothing. Why? Is there a problem with that? There's something you're clearly hoping that we've forgotten. What are you talking about? There isn't. That's not true. Unluckily for you, we remember it rather well. I'm talking, of course, about the yellow speckles on the president's chest. Yeah. You've studiously avoided mentioning them through your testimony. Absent, I find suspicious to say the least. I hope for your sake that you have a satisfactory explanation. Overruled. Judge Cavell? Allow me to explain. But the yellow residue on the president's chest. I imagine it was from a bouquet of flowers. Lion lilies, to be precise. Lion lilies? 2 nights ago, when I met the president on the roof of the big building. I presented him with a bouquet. They're a type of lily with large yellow petals. Imagine that the substance on President Wang's chest was pollen from those flowers. But they're not there in the printout from the security camera. Only because the president is in the way. But why give him flowers? That is not something I am at liberty to divulge. Not so fast! What? More secrets? Are you serious? First you wouldn't tell us why you met with him, and now you tell us you can't even... And now you can't even tell us about the flowers? My sincerest apologies. But all I can tell you is that I gave him the bouquet. Objection! The bouquet that was nowhere near the body when it was discovered. How do you explain that? I cannot. Ha! Seriously, Your Honor? Some things you want to explain, the rest you can't? Come on, you've got to give us something here. You wouldn't let this fly in the courtroom. What makes you think we'll accept it? Hold it! Hey, you leave her alone! Sean, I threw the flowers away, okay? You did? So they were there when you first found the body? Yeah, they were right there on his chest. And they were squashed completely flat. Oh, I guess that makes sense, right? They would have gotten crushed alongside with the president. And the pollen would have been smeared across his jacket front. That does explain things rather neatly. But why remove the bouquet and dispose of it? No reason. It's almost as the faces of his mother. More secrets? They're quite a pair. Overruled. There is no secrets. I know exactly why Sean disposed of the bouquet. Huh? You saw me leave the house with it, didn't you? Oh, I get it. When you saw the flowers on the president's body, you remembered seeing your mom with them. And felt the need to prevent her from coming under suspicion. No, you've got it all wrong. That's his least convincing lie yet. Aww. What a cute couple. I often decorate our home with flying lilies. Imagine that's why you remembered. Not so fast! So the flowers his mother was carrying showed up on the president's body. And because of that, he got rid of the bouquet, kept quiet about having discovered the corpse. Huh. Well, that ties everything up nicely, doesn't it? A little too nicely for my taste. Why? What's wrong with nice? I guess you forgot, huh? The kid almost told us he was responsible for the head falling in the first place. Yeah, he did, but... See, so he's still our only suspect. Objection! Finger on suspicion still seems to be pointing firmly in Sean's direction. However... Wait. I can think of a far more likely culprit than the boy. What? Who? The person who was holding Sean captive till only a short while ago. Yeah. Lucky it wasn't switched on. Poor kid might have frozen into a popsicle otherwise. He was doing his best to call out for help, which is how we found him. The sedatives have worn off by then, so he was wide awake and plenty loud. Sedatives? Isn't that what you were given too? Yep, found the bottle on the floor of the unit. It was even the same brand. 3Z's. Apparently it's super strong. Well, Agent Lane, surely that suggests that Sean is a victim, not a suspect? Somebody else was responsible, and I think they've been hiding behind all of this. Not so fast! Oh yeah? This secret mastermind of yours was here last night too? That, I can't yet say. Huh! It's not like you to be so vague, Mr. Prosecutor. Sadly, we just don't have anything to tie our mysterious kidnapper to the murder of the president. So is there anybody else? Somebody other than Shiny who could have committed the murder? Of course! So it's right. The kid is still our only suspect. Objection! Not quite. I can think of another. What? Somebody who we just recently proved was right here on the movie set last night. Chairman Winter. You think he killed Miss President Wang? Why not? We proved that he was present. And if he was here, he's as viable a suspect as anybody else, wouldn't you say? Winter. Could he really have? Certainly another possibility to consider. "12 years ago, who was..." Huh? That number again. Agent Lane, what happened 12 years ago? It's nothing to do with you. I think it has everything to do with me. It's clearly connected to this case. Not so fast! Heh. And you can prove that, can you? Go ahead, show me some proof that what happened 12 years ago has anything to do with this. Proof? If you can't prove it, this conversation's over. This is a report about Bronco Knight. It was sent to Chairman Winter by Warden Lagarde. This last part in particular should be of interest to you. Retrieve the package we laid to rest 12 years ago, in front of the planner. That's not all. Take a look at this. This letter was sent to Rosie Ringer, the victim of murder that happened the night before last. We don't know who sent it, but it does say this. Good luck getting your revenge for what happened 12 years ago. What? But... Something strange is going on, Agent Lang. Miss Ringer was murdered the night before last, and President Wang not long afterward. There's a connection between the two murders. There has to be. And I believe we can trace that connection to events 12 years in the past. Am I wrong? These are old wounds you're opening here. Insults to my family name. Please, Agent Lane, we need to know. Hold it. What on earth was that? Shifu! Huh? What are you all doing here? We came to find you, sir. We heard you were looking into the incident from 12 years ago. Idiots! I'm not your boss anymore. Get back to your duties right now. We can't do that, sir. What? You're disobeying the direct order? Please, sir, I'm begging you. We all are. You have to reopen the investigation into the SS5 incident. We know you can't let it go until you figured out what happened. And we can't either. Well, Agent Lane, it seems your former underlings want the events of the past explained too. You think it's that easy that you could solve the case just like that? I think we can. Together. Huh. Well, alright then. Offer accepted. Yes, Shifu, 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 Shifu. Nice. Then I guess it's my turn to step up. I'm sorry, Kate. You're looking into a case from the past, right? I just happen to have something that will help with that. Ah, you mean Mr. Thief. Sure do. If you can give me the details of the incident, I can rustle up a little simulation for you. Sadly, we don't have the files relating to the case. Huh? How come? Access to the files is restricted. They're top secret. Really? Why? Beats me. Somebody must have something to hide. I've never seen them. Everything I know, I read in newspaper articles from the time. That's fine. Just tell us what you can. Alright. Oh god, this son. The SS5 incident happened on a winter's day 12 years ago, February 10th to be precise. Their police received a call directly from the kidnapper. I've got the president of St. Fa. So he was kidnapped? Yeah, SS5 is the official designation of the president's kidnapping case. Kidnapper wanted $100 million. $100 million? How much money even is that with inflation these days? Maybe 300 million? More than you can imagine, it seems. The last person to see the president that night was my father. They were together at the embassy of St. Fa until midnight on the 10th. Nobody knows what happened with the president until he was kidnapped. Our government did everything they could to scrape together the money. They were desperate to save him. And in the end, they succeeded. The money was handed over, and the president came home safely. So President Wayne was head honcho even back then? Wow, go Mr. President! Heh, the length of time he stayed in power isn't even close to the most impressive thing about him. Agent Lane was clearly fond of President Wang. I assume the kidnapping was thoroughly investigated? It was, but the investigation was top secret, as was the trial. The trial? So a suspect was arrested? Yeah, none other than our friend Fifi Lagarde. What? Is that why you visited the president? It is. I was put on what you might call extended leave from Interpol. So I thought I'd use the time to look into what happened 12 years back. Well, I wanted to see who I was dealing with. She was found not guilty then, wasn't she? Yeah. My father was in charge of the president's security at the time. But they held him responsible for the kidnapping and stripped him of his duties as presidential bodyguard. Stayed on the force though, and he worked the case alone. Until eventually he found a suspect. The guard. And if he thought she did it, there's no way she was innocent. But they declared her not guilty, and the case went cold. My father couldn't take it. He was broken, mentally and physically. Finally, he quit the force altogether. So he had solid grounds to suspect Warden Lagarde? He must have had evidence. He wouldn't have charged her otherwise. But I've never been able to see the materials from the case. I'm sorry, but that's all I know. What do we do, Mr. Edgeworth? This is useful information, but I don't think that's enough for Little Thief to recreate the scene. Ark, is there really nothing we can do? Hold it! You look like you could use a hand. Who's this now? Francisca! And Mr. Fender! We finally wrapped things up over at the courthouse, so we thought we'd see what you kids were up to. Here. What's this? It says SS5 Incident Investigation Report. Sole witness was murdered. When Fifi Lagarde mentioned an incident from 12 years ago earlier, I couldn't help but wonder. So I decided to look into it. This was what Interpol provided. Nice horse, Francisca. Don't get the wrong idea, Miles Edgeworth. You're no longer a prosecutor. I didn't do this for you. I did it so that a colleague could solve his father's final case. I owe you, sis. But everything related to the SS5 incident was supposed to be a secret. Top secret. Yes, but that classification was applied by the prosecutor in charge of the case, Excelsius Winter. He was a prosecutor in charge? Him again. Don't worry. Due to the outcome of this morning's case, he's been stripped of his authority. And the outcome that was it's no small part thanks to the efforts of his own son. Aw. Useless. So in defeating his father, he made the old case file available to us? Sounds like we owe him. Prosecutor Eustace Winter is busy wrapping things up after the conclusion of the guard trial. But he asked me to give you a message. Leave that in regards to me. You focus on your case over there. He's even starting to sound like a prosecutor. Indeed he is. Alright! Now that we have the case file, I can recreate the scene no problem. Excellent. Let's get started, huh? Let's get it started in here. Let's get it started, huh? Let's get it started in here. Huh? According to the file, the incident occurred exactly where the plaza is now. What are we waiting for? With me, everybody. April 6th, 3:25 p.m. Big Building Plaza. Alright, Kay. If you could set Mr. Thief in motion. Sure. Looks like there's more than enough here to work with. Where do you want to start? Good question. Let's see. Seems there was an eyewitness. A freelance journalist by the name of Right. Rosie Ringer and All Down. But apparently, he was killed by the culprit for witnessing the kidnapping. So this is where he saw it all happen, huh? Here? As in the big building? No, construction of the big building only began a year ago. Before that, it had been a piece of abandoned property. Before that... Huh, now we're getting to the stuff I know. 12 years ago, this place would have been the Happy Family Home. Like for retired people? No, it was a place for children without parents. An orphanage. An orphanage, in other words. The president was kidnapped from an orphanage. Yeah, and the place was run by Fifi Lagarde. She called it her happy little home. As the proprietor of the institution, I suppose it's understandable that she came under suspicion. President Wang, Excelsius Winter, and Warden Lagarde? Surely the SS5 incident must be related to our current case. Okay, could you enter the data relating to the murder of Mr. All Down? It seems sensible to assume that he was killed by whoever kidnapped the president. So if we solved the murder, we solved the kidnapping. Nice. Alright, we're counting on you. Beep, beep, beep. Boop, beep, beep, boop. Ah! What the heck is this? When did I group become so blasé towards people's reactions to Mr. Thief? What we're seeing here is the front yard of the orphanage as it was 12 years ago. At least as far as the police reports describe it. Yeah, this is how it looks when they started the investigating at 7 a.m. the morning after the murder. And it seems it had been snowing. Yeah, from what I heard, the footprints wound up being pretty important evidence. Snow fell in the daytime the previous day. In other words, before the incident occurred. Meaning that none of the relevant footprints would have been obscured by new snow. I think we'll need to pay these footprints some special attention. Orphanage. Begin investigation. But in a little bit. I need to do some stuff. Be right back. Mr. Thief is quite a charming little thief. Sorry that took a little bit longer. Just had stuff to do. This one. Just one and stuff. Anyways, leather herring. Alright. Which room was? I guess we'll just have to take care of this stuff first. All fell down. The man who witnessed the president's kidnapping. But what exactly did he see? I guess this is part of the recreation on one of the crime scene photos. So seems he suffered a blow to the back of the head. Yeah, from that break right there, they figured it must have been taken from here in the yard. Looks like the blood flowed from the head wounds spread all over the surrounding area. Here, a gift for you. This is Mr. Alfeldzone's autopsy reports. Okay. I must guard the scene and expect anything that catches my attention. What's this? Well, I guess I'll look at the other stuff first here. This was the brick used in the murder. They probably took it from somewhere nearby, huh? Bricks. All fell down. Freelance journalist. Killed after witnessing the kidnapping of President Wang. Even in the recreation, it's pretty gruesome, huh? It's even worse than the actual crime scene photos. That's a lot of blood. Seems mostly to have come from the back of his head. As you can see, that area is completely caked. Yeah, the autopsy report says that's where he was hit with the brick. Indeed, I imagine his attacker must have snuck up from him from behind. Looks as if he's clutching something in his right hand. Oh yeah, they mentioned that in the file somewhere. Let's see. According to this, it was a button. Button? Torn from the attacker's clothing, perhaps? So the victim was carrying a camera. Oh yeah, according to the file, they recovered a picture. Yeah, here we are. It's the president, right? Somebody's pointing a gun at him. This must be what Mr. Alfeldzone witnessed. So the person in the trench coat is the kidnapper? Yes, I imagine they were trying to conceal their identity. If Agent Lane's father theory is correct, the person wearing the trench coat is Warden Lagarde. How come they only found the one picture? Probably wasn't able to take any more before he was attacked. Oh, forgot. I'm here. Mr. Alfeldzone's photograph data jotted down in my organizer. The cell phone must have belonged to the victim. You're right. Yeah, it says here in the file that Mr. Alfeldzone made a call while he was watching the kidnapping. A call? To whom? His girlfriend. His girlfriend. Seemed like he called her when he saw the president was there. But she didn't pick up, so he left a message. That's in here too, if you want to hear it. Please. Hey, Rosie. It's me. I guess you're asleep already. Anyway, I'm here at the orphanage. Something weird's going on. President Wayne is here for some reason, and there's another. Damn it! The light's out, so I can't quite see, but looks like he was being kidnapped. Anyway, probably nothing, but Ow. What were those sounds at the end? He must have been attacked while he was still on the phone. Agent Lane, can I ask you something? Mr. Alfonso's girlfriend, what was her name? Ringer. Rosie Ringer. At least that's what I heard. Just as I thought. Wait, you mean her revenge for what happened 12 years ago? So she was really out for revenge on Chairman Winter, wasn't she? Perhaps it was for his suppression of the kidnapping. Perhaps it was because she thought it was one of the kidnappers. There's nothing of it. Over here. There's not. Footprints were a key part of this case. There was information about the shoes in the file correct. Yeah, let's see. They were size 12. Feet were clean. No cords. No athlete's fit. Beige socks, thermal underwears in the same color. He dressed old guy style. Brighter socks would have really made the outfit pop. Why not live a little? And that's it for the fashion rundown. Shout out to whoever left these amazingly helpful comments. Here I thought it was going to be plain old investigation report. Somebody's dropped a yellow flower here. I think this one symbolizes desire to steal treasures. Okay, you can't just make these things up. All we can say is that it looks like to be different from all the other flowers in the planter. Huh, so what's it doing here? What indeed? Should examine the planters too. Must be right, somebody must have stolen it. It's a stolen treasure. Okay. I think this one might actually symbolize the growing anger of a former prosecutor. Oh boy. There's nothing... Okay. Let's see here. His footprints up by the body. I guess that means he belonged to Mr. Aldown, right? His feet were pretty big. What's that about a size 12? According to the file, they were the same size as his shoes. It's a match. His footprints go towards the body and come back. According to the case file, they're thought to be the killers. They're about a size 9. Pretty average in other words. Seems the police weren't able to track down who the murderer was from there though. There are burn marks on this pillar here. The report says there's a fire sometime on the evening on the incident. A fire? Let's see, where was it again? Ah, yeah, one of the orphans set a fire with some kerosene. Some sort of prank, probably. They sound like a lively bunch, possibly too lively. Seems their antics spoiled our chances of finding the footprints near the entrance of the building. Uniquely shaped like a bear. The perfect balance of cuteness and scariness. I guess you could call it a bigloo. It is quite large. You could probably fit as many as 3 people inside it. Yeah, they could live in there for 3 whole years. 3 years? And what about the summer? Wouldn't the big igloo melt? Again, say it again, Mr. Edgers, please, one more time. Wouldn't the igloo melt? Yeah, you're no fun. This looks like a snowman, but it's mostly melted. Well, it's no wonder he's all slushy. He's wearing a hat and scarf. Must have been all roasty toasty. Ah, and look at his cute little bunny eye just lying there. Probably wouldn't have risen back up again at dawn, you know. That's when it's usually the coldest. I don't think that would have helped much, Mr. Edgeworth. If a melted snowman froze again, it wouldn't turn back into a snowman. It would turn into an iceman. Oh, what? Is what I bet you wanted me to say, isn't it? Well, too bad. These planners. According to the case file, the yard stretched around 3 sides of the orphanage. There were 3 planners on each side. Oh, I see. Yes, planners arranged in a very particular pattern. One we've seen somewhere before. Shame there aren't many flowers, but I guess it was the middle of winter. Yes, but look at that one. It's bright yellow. Weird. How come there's only one? Wait, it looks like somebody dropped it. That's a lion lily, if I'm not very much mistaken. A rare member of the family Liliaceae or whatever. A lion lily, you say? Wait, didn't Judge Cavell give President Wayne some lion lilies? What is the same flower doing here? This can't be a coincidence, can it? I believe this particular cultivar is from Asia, where it's said to symbolize the bond between parent and child. I wasn't aware you were so knowledgeable when it comes to flowers, Franziska. Huh, what I just told you is common knowledge. Perhaps you just need to read a little more. Aw. So that's what our monstrous hoof prints really were. Wait, what? Recall the arrangement of the prints. Now compare it to that of the planters. Whoa! That's right. I believe the footprints are located exactly where our planters once stood. So Chairman Winter was sticking around the front of them? He was. And why might he have been doing that? We have a piece of evidence in our possession that answers exactly that question. Hmm? Never mind. Recall, if you will, the report that Warden Lagarde sent to Chairman Winter. Okay. In it, she mentioned something that had been laid to rest in front of a planter. You think she was telling him where to dig? Wait, but why 3 holes? Because the report didn't specify which of the planters she meant. I get it, so he wasn't sure which one it was. Which means that he had to try to dig up all 3. I imagine so, yes. Poor Chairman Winter. But why go through all that trouble? What was he looking for? How dare you, Scruffy? Don't you dare tell anybody. I'll just deny it anyway. Eek, Mr. Redruth, you gotta help me out, sir. What's the matter, Detective? It's about the SS5 incident. What else? I know Chairman Winter isn't just Georgia anymore and all. But a top-secret file being available to us so quickly after his removal? Something seemed off. So that got me to thinking, and I put in a call. They told me that, well, that Miss Von Karma went to some pretty extreme lengths to get that files released. Curse you, Scruffy, I deny everything. Eek! Sounds like you went to a lot of trouble for our sake, Francisca. Don't worry, your efforts won't be for nothing. I'll solve this case, you'll see. Boy howdy, is this ever a scoop? Whole world's gone green. Must be an outbreak or something. I'm seeing green trees, green people, green clothes, everything. I better hope not anything's a evil resident around here. It must be real sick even if their clothes are green. Looks like we wound up sleeping in the middle of the right dang place at the right dang time. Sure did, Chief. I don't think we're going to get a word in edgewise here, Mr. Edgeworth. And I don't think we want to. 3 planters covered with snow. Is anything the matter, Agent Lane? Yeah, something's not right. I wasn't able to look at the case file until now. Indeed, you have Chairman Winter to thank for that, it seems. Yeah, but what's weird is, I've seen this scene somewhere before. What? But where? I keep thinking I've got it, but then it's gone. Appears to be lost in efforts to remember. Perhaps I should leave him alone for now. I think that's all about we can learn from the scene for now. Alright, how about I try and show you how things looked earlier that night? That would be very much appreciated. Can you take us back to the moment at which the victim witnessed the kidnapping? Sure, I'll use the photograph you took. Here goes nothing. There's Mr. Aldon in the middle of the planters. There's the president and his kidnapper out by the road. My father based his investigation on the evidence Aldon provided. That was why he thought the kidnapping and the orphanage were connected somehow. And how we wound up suspecting Fifi Lagarde. She was the one running the orphanage at the time. Exactly. But when the case went to trial, Excelsius Winter put a big hole in that theory. He did? Yeah, after all, the president and the kidnapper weren't actually on the grounds of the orphanage. So it was hard to conclusively prove any kind of connection. Huh, so they were never seen inside the gates of the orphanage. Detectives boss got to find evidence on the scene. Then prosecutors come along and twist it for their own ends. Winter and Lagarde were working together. They had some kind of deal, I'm sure of it. So you're saying that Chairman Winter was working with the kidnapper? Your father was convinced that Lagarde was the culprit, correct? And you say he was a gifted and thorough investigator. Then he must have had more to support his theory than just Mr. Alden's message, surely. Yeah, he must have. I just don't know what it was. It wasn't exactly a case he liked talking about. Jin Lane's father, Da Long Lane, trusted ally and confidant of President Wang. He discovered truths that were subsequently suppressed by Chairman Winter. First priority should be to find out what they were. Mr. Alden took his picture out of the president's kidnapping from here, and then called Rosie Ringer, at which point his killer must have already been approaching from behind, with a brick in their hand, ready to strike. These footprints out by the body. Guess that means they belong to Mr. Alden, right? Alden? You know what I mean. His feet were pretty big. What's that, about a size 12? According to the file, they were the same size as his shoes. It's a match. I must scour the scene and inspect anything that catches my attention. Hey, that snowman. It was melted in the simulation of the morning after the murder, huh? That muffler was all wet, and his little button eyes had fallen out. Indeed, it still looks like reasonably healthy at this point. Though not entirely. I can see one thing that's missing. Ah, poor guy. I bet some kid took it as a stupid prank. Not a bad piece of thieving, though. Maybe they had potential. Think one of the orphans took it? I'm not so sure. In fact, I think it was grabbed by somebody else entirely. Eureka! The snowman is missing a certain something, wouldn't you say? Yeah, his right eye. Indeed. Luckily, we've managed to locate it. The button Mr. Alden was holding. Look at that. It's the same type of button as the other eye and everything. And if we suppose that the button was indeed the snowman's missing eye, that presents something of a contradiction. The victim was clutching the button, and the button was covered with his blood, which means he must have grabbed it after being attacked. Let's run a little hypothetical, shall we? What if after being struck, Mr. Alden lost his balance and reached out to grab something to steady himself, the snowman? The snowman wouldn't have supported him, so he would have grabbed the button and continued falling. I get it. So you're saying that he was near the snowman when he was... near the snowman when he was attacked? I am. Within arm's reach, to be precise. And he's currently nowhere near that close. Right, but his footprints only go as far as the planter. He never came back this way. What if they weren't his footprints? I think we need to look at all the prints again. Alright, I'll take us back to the scene when Mr. Alden's body was found. Well, the footprints on the left definitely match up with Mr. Alden's shoes, right? So what's the deal? Let's take another look and see if we can figure it out. Shoes. As the case file says, they match the footprints, but... Huh. These aren't the victim's shoes. I'm sure of it. What do you mean? Look at how the laces are tied. Don't they look a little strange to you? What's more, they don't appear to fit properly. So these prints, they go right up to where the victim was found. They stop right by his feet. But they didn't actually belong to him. So are the prints by his head is? The ones that lead away and come back? No, I don't think so. They're too small. So neither set belongs to him? Then how did he get here? That's easy enough. He didn't walk. He was carried by the killer. So then where did the murder take place? Was it really over by the snowman as we suspect? I think Mr. O'Dunn's body was moved. How else do we explain the button clutched his hands? That would suggest that he was killed somewhere near the snowman. Better take a closer look. Mr. O'Dunn's... Oh, there's that. Oh, look, there's a brick missing here. The rest of the brickwork looks fine. Strange that this one is just missing. Ah. Seems quite likely that the missing brick was the one used in the murder, wouldn't you say? Oh yeah, now that you mention it, they're the exact same shape and size. Huh? Dang. Hold on a moment. There we are. That's everywhere. If Chairman Winter was involved in President Wayne's abduction, then it seems likely that whatever he dug up yesterday had something to do with the kidnapping. Oh, I get it. You do? You bet I do. We're talking treasure, right? Loot. You must have been digging up the ransom money. Ransom money? $100 million is an awful lot of cash. Burying it would have been a good way to keep it hidden until the heat dies down. It certainly seems like a possibility. Why do you agree? I think we have to conclude that the murder actually happened over by the snowman. Right. But the button came from there and the brick too. Indeed. What's more, if the murder took the brick right from by the snowman, and then tried to sneak up on the victim all the way over by the planters, Mr. Alton would have seen them right away. Exactly. I think we need to update the simulation, Kay. Mr. Alton wasn't sending by the planters. He was next to the snowman. Gotcha. Alright, here goes. This is weird. This is weird to look at. Yeah, no matter how you look at it, this just doesn't work, huh? Indeed, everybody who was present is in exactly the same spot. So, where did we go wrong? One of the pieces of evidence which we base our simulation must be the source of the problem. What if one of them was fake somehow? Can we really be certain that this picture was taken by Mr. Aldan? Aldan? Huh? What do you mean? We know that whoever killed him moved his body, but why would they have done that? What if they wanted to make it seem like he saw something he didn't? And then took the photo to help back up the lie? they had the president at gunpoint. They could easily have forced him to pose for the picture. He would have had no choice but to comply. Hey, now that you mention it, they only recovered one picture from Mr. Aldone's camera, right? Indeed, imagine his killer probably removed the film that was already in there and replaced it with another, thereby ensuring that the only picture found was the only one they staged. Yeah, that makes total sense. So this picture was actually taken after Mr. Aldon was killed. No way. There we have it. The picture doesn't show what Mr. Aldon saw at all. I'm out loud. Alright, I'll just need to clock it down here. Seems highly likely that it was simply staged to make us believe that that was the case. Wait, so where was the president when Mr. Aldon thought he saw him being kidnapped? Luckily, the photograph isn't the only piece of evidence we can try to figure that out. Oh yeah, you left that voicemail too. You did. I think we should listen back to it one more time, don't you? It's really the only place where the president and his kidnapper could have been standing. Oh, yeah? That's where they really went? How do you figure that? Alright. We'll call this segment from Mr. Alden's voicemail. Damn it, the light's out. Two of the lights here in the yard are broken. Yeah, you must have been talking about the one over by the building. I forgot I missed that. Right, could you update the simulation to reflect everything we've learned? Sure. There we have it. Kidnapper was really standing over by the building. Yes, which would certainly have strengthened the theory that they were connected to the orphanage. So they moved the body and staged the photo, which is pinned by the voicemail. Jumped on cover, undermined the idea that the orphanage was involved when the case went to trial. Well, that certainly changes what this particular part of the simulation tells us. Imagine it will also affect our understanding of the scene from when the body was found. Only one way to find out. I need to make the jump. To switch between the two recreations, I need to them. Yeah, right. I forgot I have a little pony. I forgot my little deal. Anyways. I just need to say goodbye. Nope. This has been Dry Oasis. I've been your host. Kirby and Sarlax. Say goodbye, Kirby and Sarlax. Bye now. So you can find me on Twitch, Patreon, YouTube, Discord, or Blue Sky. All under Dry Oasis. I've been your host. And let's see here. Training channel. Alright. I hope that you have all had a great day so far, and if not, if the rest of your day is better or tomorrow is better for you. See you later, and take care. Bye-bye. eventually. Note